how do these Georgian water mixable oil paints react as watercolors, and how do these react as oil paints? In this video, I'll be using Daler-Rowney Georgian oil paints. As part of this experiment, we're going to do two tests. One up here is mixing the different oils as oil paints, and then below it, we're going to do a watercolor wash just to see how it all flows together on the canvas and everything else. Over here, as far as our materials are concerned, we have these Robert Simmons brushes and the Robert Simmons Signet. Excellent brushes, some for oils, some for washes. And then we have just a handful of Georgian water mixable colors. And then up here, I have placed 16 of them. We just grabbed, just kind of get a feel for it and just kind of see how they're going to respond. Over here, I have my water for the very end. Let's get started. I'm always interested in the really strong colors. So let's just grab some of these blues. Let's see what kind of chroma they get. All right, this is getting fun already. And then once I kind of get a feel for who all these players are, then there's some ultramarine. Then I'm gonna start pushing them with other colors and saying, here's black. Let's just see what black does. Okay, excellent. Let's go here with the Prussian, I believe. Yep. All right. Now that I've mixed these, the first thing I ask is, well, how did they respond? And they've just all felt very much just like any oil paint I've ever mixed or messed with. Really, they feel just like oil paints. At this point, now that I've said all these paints responded like I would think an oil paint should, let's mix them, see if we see anything that really stands out or odd. And so, of course, ultramarine, and we're going to place that with some cad orange. And it comes a little bit on the yellow end, but I expect that because usually the cad oranges are a little bit on the yellow end. Don't tell anybody. And then ultramarine. All right, this is the basis of every underpainting I've ever done. So this is just, and I like to see, as I'm scraping it, I want to see the canvas underneath. And I'll probably make a blend of that anyways at some point. And then I want to, anyways, those are my favorite colors. So of course, I'm going to have a weak spot. And so let's just see how they work as they're lightened. All right, looks good. And that for me is a perfect cloud in the middle of the mountains, sun setting. So this is good. Let's try some other colors. Some other colors I tend to use a lot of are kind of this green-purple or green-red combo. So let's just grab the strongest green I see here, and let's get the strongest red I see here. Hard to say. Yeah, so it makes this nice purple. Let's get a brush and just try to see who you are a little more. And that's water. Putting the water in. I couldn't wait for the wash. I just had to do it. Okay, so what are some other colors I would think about? Let's try these two. Let's get this yellow ochre and then this cobalt violet, I believe. And it's going to be a little bit on the warm side, but all right. Okay, that makes for some fun flesh tones. Let's make some flesh tones real quick. I can do any one of these reds. Looks good. Okay. We have flesh somewhat. Quickest way to make flesh, cad orange, raw sienna, white. Okay, up to this point, everything looks great. Yeah, responding well, getting the mixtures without dialing it in, but really getting things established that I would think and how things should respond. For this water test, I've got a new canvas. I'm going to apply the different pigments, and we'll start working on just seeing how they mix with water as they run down this canvas. Let's set this up here and just start. Oh, this is going to be, you know what, I got to do this with my palette knife, or I am going to get everything dirty with the brush. Are you ready to spray in some water? This will be fun. It feels weird to stick my oil paint stuff Okay. And I'm gonna get a new brush. We can wipe up oil painting casualties. Oh, this is interesting. Right off, I can see the colors that just want to run. And it's usually the strong colors, just naturally strong. These phthalos. This would look really cool on a time lapse. Yeah, this is fun. Okay, test is done. This is great. Not as much on that guy, but it's still water soluble. But if I wanted to treat, this paint as a wash, then there's a certain color, I just know that that's not the one. So that tells me for the wash test, there's just certain colors that respond naturally. And so if I'm doing a floral painting and I'm like, okay, I want some roses and I want to put in a wash, look at those. I'm good. You know what I mean? Just really strong. I don't know where I'd use as high a chroma as this particular green, but it tells me that if I joined it up with something, then I can still use it to gray it down and get me where I need to go. So some of these are shy for this. But I think the idea of water miscible is that I can be in the high country and I don't need to haul on my backpack a whole bottle of terp because I have at my disposal means to clean off a brush. Or, I can travel on a plane and go to France and not have to think about, flashpoint and things like that because I can clean these brushes when I'm out in the field. My final thoughts on this. What a great way to establish a wash if you needed it. You can use these for that. But the most important thing is that we can take now these paints and paint them in so many more locations without having to haul all the other accoutrements and little things we need to clean off brushes and things like that. But on the same token, we still have a capability to utilize some of these colors as washes, as things kind of like putting in your backdrop and just establishing a tint or a shade. Because these two coming together, I can, see this beautiful color. And then if this becomes a wash, and so it just opens up some more options. Not necessarily watercolor options, but ideas that the watercolorists have that the oil painters don't. And so that's what I think we're able to highlight here is the ideas or the opening up our minds of different options to get us an excellent final result.